Hello, and welcome to another episode of Creating Cultures That Outperform. I hope you've been enjoying this series on how to increase workforce productivity. Probably nothing is more important than this. We know companies are struggling to transform. We know leaders are struggling to actually keep their organizations afloat. Employee engagement levels hit the lowest level in 11 years, just on and on. Things keep changing. The world is, however, spinning, so you have a chance to increase workforce productivity and make a difference in your shop. Today, we're going to be covering how to optimize thought and focus. The work environment really matters. This is a great series that covers all aspects that drive really the human factors of productivity. There are other things you could do, process tuning and whatnot. We don't really get into that. We're looking at all these human factors of productivity that are more or less left ignored in almost every organization. So, Terry, you want to kick us off on this one?
Yeah, so this one is all about optimizing our thoughts and focus. So, you want to create a work environment where you maximize the ability to create and solve problems. So, you're going to use these tools to really help you shape your people and help them create that environment where they have free thinking, where they have dedicated time to just focus on problems that exist, actually understanding which problems are there and finding solutions to those problems. This is where having that interruption free time, that dedicated time to think, where the stress environment is not, there's limited stress in the environment, I should say, where people have that ability to just kind of sit with their thoughts a little bit. When you're trying to solve a problem, if you're in a really stressful environment, some people thrive in that kind of space, in
Yeah.
chaos. They really thrive in chaos. So, this person that we're talking about today, they really do need some quiet time. They need that interruption free time where they can focus on the problems at hand and how they can find solutions to those problems. If people are in high stress environments for extended periods of time, it just really desensitizes them to a point where they're not able to focus. And
Mhm.
so that's true of people that thrive in chaos too. There's only so much chaos and stress that the body can take before it needs to have some time where it's shutting down and recharging and refreshing. So you want to make sure that you give people that space, that you're creating that environment where people can rest and relax and really stop and think about things deeply. So, not just the cursory thoughts that run through our minds, but really being able to spend some time deep thinking about solutions to problems and how we can make things better for our
Mhm.
teams.
Yeah, when we did People Unproductive, we never really got into the chaos creators. I've worked in
Mm,
environments where there are people who just like to create chaos. They love all that action around them.
yeah.
And they're really unproductive people, I'll tell you. And so Terry's right. When you think about the need to optimize thought and focus in a work environment, it's super important that you craft an environment that people really can think in. It's just super, super important. And I'll share this. We did a study with Rutgers Business School. 25,000 alumni. We sent out surveys to them. We collected information over 300 companies. We broke all the results up into 4 quartiles. The number one difference between companies in that top quartile and all the others was think time.
Mm,
Those organizations, work was orchestrated so well, people actually had time to think. And between that third quartile and the fourth, the difference was stunning. Actually, the on a 5-point Likert scale, it was like think time of 4.2 on the fourth quartile, and in the third quartile it was 2.8, and that just plummeted down from there. You can imagine how dysfunctional organizations are in the lower half, in 1 and 2. So these things really matter. It's reflective of an organization that's really well calibrated, well orchestrated. Think time allows people to actually, take stock of where they are, to think about where they're going, to have a little planning time. And that goes hand in hand with this interruption free time that's different. Interruption free time is uninterrupted work time, not think time, where you can sit there and actually get into a state of flow and be super productive and get a lot of work done. Organizational productivity, when you look at it in most companies, people are interrupted all day long. It's a mess. And so these things really, really matter, actually.
Yeah, it's hard when you have to context switch from one thing to the next. People say they're multitasking, but the human brain cannot multitask. We're
No,
single threaded machines.
we are.
We really cannot do more than one thing at a time. We just focus on one thing at a time. And so what you find is your brain is switching from one thing to the next, and you really don't get a chance to fully focus on the one thing because you're switching back and forth between multiple things, which means that you're not giving it the time that it needs. And so you end up missing things, making mistakes when you're constantly functioning like that. It's really not a good space to be in. You want to give people that space where they can really think about things and come up with the best solution, and not just be in a stressful environment where they're just doing whatever they think of in that moment and just flying by the seat of their pants, so to speak. That's really not a productive space to work from. Sometimes it's a
No.
stressful situation and you do need to respond timely in that stressful situation. And so there's a time and a place for that, but you don't want that to be the norm of your work environment. You don't want people to be in that high stress, high stress situation for
Yeah.
too long. You really want people to be in a space where they can be more calm and relaxed and think about things in a more appropriate way, instead of just being, oh, we got to do it. We got to do it right now. We got to hurry up, and, that busy
Busy,
flow.
busy, busy. Get it done. Here's another 2 tasks. Oh, no.
Yeah, I'm telling you, if somebody like me, I totally am the worst
Yeah.
in a stressful situation. I'm not the person you want in the high stress, high strung situations. I'm not the person. I
Yeah.
really shut down because I can't focus. There's too much going on. If it's a lot of chaos and confusion, I'm, focusing in on how I can bring calm into the situation, how I can slow things down enough that I can actually think about it. So I don't like high pressure sales for that very reason,
Yeah.
because
Well,
I like
I,
being able to just kind of think about what I want to do and what's the best approach for me, and
yeah.
then move at that pace versus, do it now. Oh, you got to do it now. It's happening now. You're gonna miss it. Like I'll
Yeah.
just miss it. And so
Well,
I don't like
listen,
that pressure.
these companies are just so dysfunctional. I mean, they're not crafted and built around human productivity. They don't understand these human factors that drive productivity, and they don't optimize them. So basically, there's a lot of people running around like chickens without a head, and there's tons of motion, but no momentum. They can't get anywhere, which is why 45% of the CEOs in this 2024 PwC CEO survey felt their company won't be viable in 10 years because they're not getting very much done. They're spending a fortune and they're just wasting tons of people's time on unproductive activities. Now, think about think time. Companies claim they can't innovate. You need think time to come up with ideas. You're not sitting at your desk, stressed out, lots of deadlines and lots of things to do, and all these ideas are popping into your head about great stuff to do. Those come when you have think time and
Yeah.
you can relax and begin to think about the future and actually be trying to solve an innovation challenge, because you need that spark or that innovation challenge to begin to make use of the think time to create some of these high value ideas. And so it's a real problem. And, this environmental stress that you're talking about, cortisol tends to make people very edgy. It reduces their ability to think and retrieve, memory. It makes them irritable and less pleasant to work with. And so the people who are stressed out constantly, they have real issues performing in the workplace. They have real issues partnering with other people. And, they have short tempers and short fuses, and they tend to go off. And all of this is highly unproductive, as you and I know. It's a
Yeah.
disaster.
Yeah. Another piece of this has to do with work-life balance, that
Mhm.
flexibility where people can do the things that they need to do when they need to do them. People still have lives. You know, we
Right.
can't just expect people to show up at work and check their life at the door when they do. It just doesn't work that way. And so as a
Mhm.
leader, you want to make sure that you're allowing people that flexibility when they need it,
Yep.
because they're going to give to the organization. But if they don't feel like they can also give to their family and their friends when needed, then that creates an imbalance. And usually people will choose their family and friends before they choose work. So you don't want to put them in the position where they have to choose. You want
Yeah.
to create an environment where they feel like they can give what they need to give to you as an employer, but then they can also give what's needed for their family and friends, because it's important. It's very important to people to be able to take care of aging parents. I'm in
Oh,
that space now
huge.
where I'm taking care of aging parents, and it just makes such a difference when you can be there to support what you need to support at work, but you can also support, taking care of parents and family and friends as needed. That's not to say that the person will abuse it, right?
Mhm.
So, sometimes people do go overboard.
Yeah.
But this is just about giving people that flexibility so that they're able to support what they need to support at work, but they can also do what they need to do at home.
And Terry, when they don't have that ability to get the work-life balance, then they're constantly preoccupied. If you have unmet needs at home, like tending to an aged parent or dealing with sick kids or getting to your school or dealing with some dental issues that you've been putting off and putting off and putting off, you keep getting interrupted all day long. Your subconscious interrupts you. And that interruption is really no different than somebody coming to your desk and interrupting you. That's why this is so unproductive, because it takes 22 minutes to get back into a state of flow. So you have organizations where no one's in a state of flow. Forget about an organizational state of flow where you're firing on all cylinders and everybody's kind of starting to work at their peak. You're not even close.
Yeah.
So these organizations are not optimized for the ability to think and solve problems. And fundamentally, that's what people have to do today. They're
Yeah.
thinking, solving problems. And until companies start to orchestrate work in a manner that allows people to think and solve problems, knowing all about cognitive neuroscience and these human factors, it's not going to happen.
Yeah, it is not going to happen. You've got to pay attention to these things. They're so important. And they're things that are simple. There's nothing that we've talked about in these episodes has been so earth shattering that you're
Yeah.
just like, oh my God, how do I do that? We've been giving some very practical ways to apply this. And we hope that this is really making a difference in your organization. We'd love to hear from you at coach@peopleproductive.com.
Yeah, please reach out.
Ever we can help you with some of these items, but we'd love to hear how it's going in your organization. How are you applying some of these just different tips that we've offered in these episodes?
Yeah. So, this is going to continue on. I think, we have 6 or 8 more episodes on this topic. This is a very important topic. It's a broad topic. Very few people have actually really studied it. But we're here every Wednesday at 3:00 Eastern time to bring you more information about this. I think in 2024, nothing is more important. And we know that Josh Bersin said, this is the year where it's the global search for productivity. I don't think companies are succeeding, quite honestly. They haven't really stepped up to the plate to address this issue. They think AI is going to be a magic bullet. And so ongoing, there's so much to do. So our next episode is going to be on wellness, how important wellness is, that each individual has a high state of wellness. Why don't you join us for that? That's what we'll be recording next week. And in the meantime, we thank you for coming.
Yes. Bye.